I don't think there's any way in the world that the Ukrainians can beat the Russians. I don't think there's any appetite in Europe. I think Europe is now, in having severe problems in Germany, Italy, France. You're seeing these riots. There's internal problems in those countries. There is no appetite in Europe for sending men to die in Ukraine. And the Ukrainians do not have anybody left. The Ukrainians are using press gangs to fill the ranks of their armies. Men, military-age men, are trying as hard as they can to get out of the Ukraine right now to avoid going to the front. The Russians apparently have been killing Ukrainians at a 7-to-1 ratio. My son fought over there, and he told me it's artillery. He had firefights with the Russians mainly at night, but he said most of the battles were artillery wars during the day, and the Russians now outgun the NATO forces 10-to-1 in artillery. Oh, they're killing at a horrendous rate. Now, my interpretation of what's happened so far is that Putin actually went in early on with a small force because he expected to meet somebody on the other end of a negotiating table that once he went in. And that when that didn't happen, they did not have a large enough force to be able to mount an offensive. And so they've been building up that force up till now, and they now have that force. And even against this small original force, the Ukrainians have been helpless. All of their offenses have died. The troops that are now headed, that are now filling the gaps of all those 350,000 men who've been lost are scantily trained. And they're arriving green at the front. Many of them do not want to be there. Many of them are giving up and going over the Russian side. We've seen this again and again and again, including platoon-sized groups that are defecting to the Russians. And I don't think it's possible to win. To think that that Ukraine can beat Russia in a war, it would be like Mexico beating the United States. It's impossible to think that it can happen. And